y'all. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time you are watching this. But shout out to you for pulling up and pulling through to
Mhm.
our Wednesday lives with Trey and Jay. I'm Trey.
And I am Jay. Hey.
Listen, so shout out to you, as we said, for pulling up, but I just wanted to make sure that you are clear as to what goes on here. What was that rhyme? Clear as to what goes on here. Bars. Anyway, y'all. So on this channel, what we do is share our lives to empower others to love Jesus, love themselves, and love others well. And
Mhm.
we are about to pull up to another particular episode, y'all. First of all, I hope y'all got some good stuff from last week. Boundaries, what the heck is that? Okay.
Yeah, what's boundaries?
Please make sure you check that out. That's on our page. Also, if you are not following us on Instagram, what's up? Pull up.
What you waiting for?
It's Life with Trey and Jay. That's TrayandJea, spelled exactly how it is right
That's how
now.
you
Make
found
sure
us.
you
So
precisely make sure you like, you comment, you share, you subscribe. We definitely got to make sure to keep telling y'all to subscribe. Just click that button for the notifications, click the little bell that says that you can get notifications as well. We definitely want to engage with you. And now, y'all, Janelle is going to pull up with what we're talking about on tonight.
So, as usual, I'm excited about our topics. We chose them, right, for a reason. So, this week and this month, we're talking about boundaries, and we are basing our conversation off of this book. It's called Set Boundaries, Find Peace. I don't know about y'all, but I love to have peace. Like, don't mess with my peace. Don't mess with my peace. If you mess with my peace, then we got to figure things out. so the author is talking about, is pretty much sharing what she's learned as a therapist. She's a therapist, so it's kind of like free therapy, or like only the cost of the book. I advise you to get the book. But also, we are talking about boundaries throughout this whole month. So last month we talked about, like what Tracy said, what the heck is it? We talked about what boundaries, is last week. This week, today, we're going to talk about boundaries in your business. A lot of people are business owners or entrepreneurs. Say you're running a business for another company, which is your job. How do you set boundaries in that particular place? Next week, coming up on Tuesday, we're going to talk about boundaries in the workplace, and that'll
Mhm.
be I know that's a little different from our schedule. And then Wednesday, we're doing a lot more this.
So it's about to be back to back, y'all.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have a lot. Wednesday, I'm excited about this topic: boundaries in dating and marriage. That's you all we can all learn from that. Like, you're either dating or dating in a marriage.
I
The
don't know
last
about
one is
y'all, but listen, this week, for this week is specifically to creatives and
yes.
entrepreneurs and all of that.
We're gonna get into that. We're gonna
And
get into
next
it.
week is specific to the workplace. Shout out to all the 9 to 5ers. And then dating and marriage, and then family and friends. All I know, I'm about to have my
Yes.
pen and my notes. Like, let me gather all the notes. So,
So the last
which
week is specifically, and in my opinion, it's the hardest one. Family and friends. Just in time for Thanksgiving, y'all. And you can use it for, the holidays coming up, whatever event. However, this is gonna help you for the pretty much your life, because you have family and friends all of your life. So anyway, like Tracy said, this week is about having boundaries within your business. And our guest, we love her very much. She's our friend. She's an amazing entrepreneur. She is a business owner, obviously. She's a mom, a wife, and like I said, she's a good friend. So she has a lot of hats that she plays. So in order to have these hats, you have to have healthy boundaries. And she is a creative, and so she's the founder of Art So Indulge. Art So. I love the name Art So Indulge. And she's going to tell us more about that. We're going to bring on Trisha Bell. Hi, Trisha.
Hi.
So Trisha Bell is here with us because she is, like I said, she is a business owner. She is an entrepreneur and she has her own businesses. The one we're talking about today, is a creative business. Well, actually, you tell us about it. I'm not even gonna butcher it up. You tell us about it.
Yes, so it is a creative agency. We primarily work with Black Christian creatives,
I love
and really
that.
just helping them to excel in their craft. And, that looks a lot of different ways. I mean, we've done things like project management for artists. I have a coaching program, and I've done that with a lot of different digital creators. But primarily, I've worked in the music industry, and so that's a lot of what we do.
Mhm.
That's what we, primarily work in. So it's multifaceted, but it's great. It's been fun, hard and fun.
Yeah, challenging, right? I'm sure. I'm sure.
Very much so.
And
Very
I'm
much so.
sure. So you said that your favorite topic, or one of your favorite topics to talk about, is boundaries. Why?
Yes.
Like, that's interesting
Um.
to hear.
Yeah. So I think it's because I'm passionate about relationships in general, whether it's like, courting, dating, marriage relationships, or even like friendship relationships. And I think I enjoyed the topic more so because I struggled with it. I struggled and still struggle today. I mean, it's an ongoing struggle, right? But I've been super intentional about learning how to maneuver around what it
Yeah.
looks like to set like good, strong boundaries. And I think my trauma also is plays a huge part into why, I'm very intentional and passionate about the topic.
Mm,
So I'm just gonna start this part off because I do have this question that I think a lot of I think creatives, entrepreneurs, get it time and time again. When you are working from home, like how do you build the boundary around the people who are around you, who
Mm,
believe that you have all the time in the day to engage with them?
yeah.
Because the reason why I'm asking is I remember one day my mom saying something to me and was like, "Oh yeah, I needed help with this." And I was like, "Yeah, give me a minute when I'm done."
Hmm.
And in her mind, I'm not doing anything.
yeah.
So she's like, "You don't
Yep.
look
What
like
are
you're
you
doing
doing?
anything. So why I gotta
Right.
wait?" You know? So
Hmm.
how I think when we're talking about boundaries and the scope and sequence of boundaries and being an entrepreneur, being a creative, how do we start
Yeah.
off first things first expressing our boundaries, our need for boundaries around with those around us.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is communication, right? Like, you have to, well, first, I think you need to, like, kind of understand the scope of what you need to do
Hmm.
what you need to do properly, right? So if I'm a business owner and I work from home, like, I have to figure out, all right, well, how many hours do I need to get X, Y, and Z done? And even before that, I need to figure out, well, what am I going to do for this day? And how many tasks am I going to set for this day, right? Realistically. And I think once you map that out, you can kind of figure out, okay, well, I need, this amount of time. I'm blocking out my time from this time to this time. I'm gonna need this to be spaced out. Like, I need my time in my room, with no distraction. You know, you got to express that. I know specifically for me, for example, with me and my husband, we have a lot going on. We're both creatives, and he has a full time job. So we made it a point to be intentional about our times, when it comes to creating or even just working on our work, whatever it is. And so, specifically for us creating things, I have Tuesdays and Fridays. He has Mondays and Wednesdays.
Mm,
So on those days, at this time, when I come home till about 8 o'clock or whenever dinner is ready, I'm in the room, writing and recording, from this time to this time. We have had to map it out, put it in the calendar, like, stick to it. I'm reminding him, wait, it's your time today. he's like, oh baby, it's your time today. Like, we hold each other accountable. Like all of that is really included in like setting that boundary and holding each other accountable to those boundaries. Um, so yeah, I mean, communication is super key, I think, when it comes to that, and also just holding yourself accountable to whatever you set up, because
Yes.
that's important.
Mind you, y'all, or mind y'all, they have 4 kids. I have
Yes.
1, and it's hard. 4,
Right.
and I feel like she can run around. She's like 5 kids, so
That's what it felt like.
it's so worth it to be a parent, but it is
Hmm.
challenging. It's challenging because maybe your oldest 2 will understand, but the younger 2,
Yeah.
that's hard. Like, mommy can't
Yeah.
give you your Cheerios right now, or sit and eat
Hmm.
your Cheerios and that's it, and don't ask for it again. Like, like
Yeah. Facts.
that's tough. That's tough. So kudos
It
to you
is.
for actually doing the thing,
Mm,
you know.
thank
But what do
you.
you do with the kids though? I'm curious. Like,
Yeah.
fun.
So so because I'm homeschooling, during the day, I we have a certain amount of time where we do, our homeschool time. And that's typically 2 to 3 hours for one block of time, and then we'll do another like 2 hours after lunch. So during those times, like my oldest 2 are very independent. So if they're working on a unit study, that gives me some time to go on my laptop and do some things for my business. And if for some reason I don't have time to do anything for my business and I'm tending to the other 2, because the other 2 are either coloring, they're tracing, or I put on, a movie for them to watch or some kind of educational show for them to watch. Um, sometimes it's a little distracting and I can't do my work.
Mm,
So I'll just wait till everybody is asleep and get it in. And that typically starts around 9 o'clock. And sometimes I'm up from 9 to like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning,
wow.
working on a thing, which is fine. Because I'm a late, I like to stay up late. But I try, okay, hear me say, I try to stick to, to stick to a time to cut that off because I need my sleep, right?
Yeah.
I need as much sleep as I can get. So I try to cut it off, but sometimes, you're an entrepreneur, you sometimes just don't, you can't sleep because you got all these ideas running in your mind.
So
And if
so
you're
this is so this is where I come to the next part of things, because I think, especially as entrepreneurs, especially as creatives, the struggle is rest.
Yeah,
You
it is.
know, the struggle is like, okay, how hard do I hustle? Like, how much, how a few years ago Diddy was like talking to everybody about, like, yo, you sleep when you die, you sleep when you die. And it's
Yeah.
like, if you don't sleep,
Lies.
you will
Honestly,
die. Like, what are the people
Facts.
talking about? Like,
Facts.
what is happening? You will die.
Factuals. Yes.
You will see all the things that are happening to you and your body, and you're
Hmm.
like wondering why my body's breaking down on me
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
not resting, right?
Yeah.
So I know that oftentimes we talk about like a 9 to 5 and then the 5 to 9, right? So
Yep.
like, what does it look like as you are transitioning from, you know, a 9 to 5 to a 5 to 9, and what are the like real life expectations of that life,
Yeah.
like how do you create those boundaries there?
Yeah, it's not easy, but I think the one thing that I've been learning is that, you know, it can wait. Like, I know that sounds so simple, but as an entrepreneur who's a creative specifically, it's very difficult to turn your brain off, right? Because your brain is
mhm.
always running down these ideas and these things that are, you're like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this. And it's like, it's really a lie. It's really a lie that we tell ourselves that we have to do X, Y, Z, A, B, and C, X, like all the things, right? You don't have to do that. And I think that that's a result of like social media and just our society in America in general.
Do
It's
you
like you
mean
got to
like a
get,
lie of success, lie of validation, like lie of proving something to yourself? Like what do you mean in reference to a lie
Yeah, that's a
per
good
se?
question. I would say all of that you mentioned, like because I think we tell ourselves, well, if I don't get this done today, then I'm not going to be successful, and it's going to be too old or too late, or my idea is going to die out, and or if I just don't get this out, it'll never get done. And that's not true. I think that's a lie that from the enemy. Like as believers, we kind of you can't you sometimes we struggle with believing like things that are true, right? And the enemy can play on, he can use different things to make us believe a lie. And so that right there, if I'm saying to myself, I got to get this thing done, but I've only gotten 2 hours of sleep, and I got to get up. I got to get up in 2 hours to function for my family.
Yeah.
Well, that you're not going to be able to function. And if I don't get my sleep, my body is going to break down. If my body is breaking down, I'm going to be unhealthy and going to be sick. That can lead to death. Why would I believe that type of lie that would lead to death? Like it doesn't make sense, right? So
Mhm.
we have to reverse that thinking and not lean into what society is telling us we should be doing, because nobody else can tell you what you should be doing, right? If it's not healthy for your body, if it's not healthy for your mind, it's not healthy for your spirit, like it's not good. So I have to often reverse my thinking, allow the Lord to take my thoughts captive and help me to believe on what is true. Do I have to do this today? No, I do not. If I don't do it today, will it ever get done? Yes, it will in due time. Be patient, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, so I think it's just it's a process that, I mean, it's not easy, right? I'm saying all these things as if I got it down, but I don't. Like I'm still practicing these things and fighting to get my rest, fighting to at least get 7 hours of sleep, and if not 6 hours, because if not, I'm not gonna be able to function.
Yeah.
And who's gonna take care of these kids? You know what I mean? I have to
there's
be
some there's
able.
something there's something that you said that I thought was like really really dope when you were just like um recognizing that this is a lie, right? But
Yeah,
also noting that if I'm looking around to say that this is what the ideal of success is, and so I'm holding, I am as this person am holding this thing that needs to get done as a marker of success in some capacity or another.
right.
So that then leads into how do creatives like not only how do creatives struggle with comparison, the
Mm,
comparison trap, but I would say also how do you um as a creative, as an entrepreneur, really run your race well, like so that
mm-hmm.
you are not consistently doing this. And the reason why I use the word consistently is because it does happen.
Yeah, for sure.
It definitely does happen, and it is
Yeah,
normal that it happens.
yeah.
It's the word consistent, that's the presumptive word right there. So
Mhm.
um
Mhm.
yeah, so with that being said, like how do you protect your space from that,
Mm.
especially when it's like, yo, but it's just that one thing. And let's say, for example, you've been up till 2 a.m. and it's like,
Mhm.
I mean, I got 1 more hour in me. I could do this for 1 more hour. Because somewhere in my mind, I'm thinking, yo, this is what's holding the success for me, you
Yeah.
know?
Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I think this is the thing with creative. It's a problem, right? It's a problem. But for me, I'll just say what I do and what I recommend
Yeah.
to others. I have to keep my eyes focused on the Lord. I have to keep my eyes focused on Jesus and what He wants for my life.
Mhm.
Because the second I take my eyes and my thoughts off of what Jesus wants for me, I'm looking everywhere else. I'm looking here to and fro, and I'm comparing myself to old girl over here who started way after me, and I'm comparing myself to old boy over here who started, just
Yesterday.
yesterday, and he's
Yesterday.
he's literally got 1 million followers and making $1 million. Like,
Yeah.
that is crazy to me because this stuff is happening. But at the same time, it's like their journey is not my journey. That's not my
Mhm.
journey.
Yeah.
I have to focus on what
Mhm.
my journey is and what God has set up for my future. And I cannot. First of all, it's just not healthy. It's very unhealthy for me to look at other people and try to compare myself to them because I ain't them and they not me, right? My,
Yep.
my life ain't set up the way they like to set up,
Mhm.
and it's okay. That's okay. It's totally fine that we have different journeys.
I
Um,
just want to get into the part that you said. You were just saying like I have to fix my eyes on Jesus. What does that for those in our audience who have no clue, like who's like, what
What
does
that
that
means.
mean?
Yeah.
You
mm-hmm.
lost me. Like
Facts.
girl now. What does that
Facts.
like practically look like? What does that practically mean? What does
Yeah.
where do you capture that type? That like
Yeah.
unpack that a little bit more, please, if you can.
Yeah. 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 So being created by the creator himself, I have begun to study who my creator is and why he created me to begin with. I'm a believer of Jesus. I live my life for him. Everything I do is for his glory, and that's it, right? I'm When it comes to like my business or anything creative that I do, I don't even I haven't worked a 9 to 5 in years. I have applied. God has shut it all down. He has
Oh,
created a lane specifically for me. Okay. I'm I might be kind of all over the place right now, but
No,
I'm getting
you on your square. You are on your
I'm getting
square.
to a place. I'm getting to a place, but he created a lane specifically for me. And no, I didn't understand that right away. It's taken years for me to understand that and be content with where I am. But
girl.
because I am committed. I have literally, like, my flesh died to it and literally have like put on like the spirit of God. Like, I'm only doing what he wants me to do. I ain't doing nothing else. And that might look crazy to some people. That might like look crazy to my parents. That might look crazy to my family. I don't care because they're not the ones that created me. God did, right? So I live my life for God, period. So practically what that looks like is I'm constantly in prayer. I'm asking God about every aspect of my life. I'm like, yo, God, what you want me to do here with my kids? Because homeschool, what? I ain't never homeschooling. Y'all know, I was like, I ain't not homeschooling. That is not my
Yeah.
life. That ain't my ministry. I'm a creative. That's what I do. I'm not teaching nobody. I'm not teaching nobody kids that I ain't teaching my own kids. That's where I was at. Okay. That's where I was at. All right. But God was very clear with me. He hit me up about that thing. And here I
Wow.
am homeschooling my kids. No, it's not easy, but I get so much joy when they get joy out of me teaching them about Africa, out of teaching them about Genesis. We're walking through Genesis and I'm teaching them inductive Bible studies at 11 and 10 years old. And they're understanding it and grasping it. Like, mommy, can we keep studying Genesis? Because I like when you teach us. Like, huh? Huh? But again, that came with me being focused on who I am in Christ and what he's called me to do. My business is I'm looking for other businesses like mine. I can't find it. I'm like, yo, God, you want me to do what? That's crazy because I ain't never seen that done before. But you got me doing this. I don't even understand. But okay, you want me to do that? That sounds crazy. I do it. It's successful. people like, oh my gosh, this life, that was life changing. That experience was so like, I've never created in that type of environment in my life. Like people saying stuff like this to me because I'm following after God, right? I'm doing what God has called me to do. Praying, journaling, writing down my thoughts, tracking what God has told me 2 years ago, and then looking at my journal today and saying, like, yo, I remember when God told me this like 10 years ago. Now look what I'm doing. Like,
Yeah.
again, it all goes back to just building a relationship with God.
Yeah.
And that's through prayer, that's spending time with Him, reading the Word of God. If what God is telling you through prayer ain't lining up with the Word of God, then you might be talking to somebody else. But what the way that my life has been set up is always in line with the Word of God because I have dedicated and committed my life to Jesus. Period.
Yeah.
So that's again every aspect of my life, my marriage, my with my children, my life, my kids, my business, relationships, friendships, all of that included.
I
So
love that you made sure to mention the fullness of our lives, because I think especially as when we're talking about boundaries and being creatives and being entrepreneurs, there can be a very linear scope of things, and
that's
it can
yeah,
focus in on the career, and it's like, yo, your life matters. Like
that's yeah,
you
yeah,
matter.
yeah,
Your life matters. Your sleep patterns matter.
yes,
Your level of forgiveness
yeah,
matters. Your ability to forgive, your ability to forgive yourself and others matters. Your ability
it's
to forgive
major.
the Lord matters.
Yeah,
Like all these things matter.
hmm,
Not to say that it's taking away from you being, you being you and
yeah,
who God has created you to be, but it's like these parts matter too. They do.
yeah,
They do.
Yeah, I was on LinkedIn the other day and somebody posted, let's normalize having a gap in your resume. And I
mm,
was like, true, because it's like a sin to have a gap in your resume. And lately
Hmm.
yeah,
I've been thinking about that too. Like, what if I created a resume? I would have a 2-year gap in my resume. And what would it
yeah,
look like if I had a 2-year gap in my resume? But one, we just had a whole pandemic, or we're still in the pandemic. But even before that,
still,
people have other things that they're doing in their lives besides working.
And I
hmm,
think that's
right,
so important to add
And
to
we
your resume, because
forget.
that so that just like what you're saying though, there's mad transferable skills in what you're doing.
oh my goodness,
Your
Absolutely.
yes,
ability to build relationships, your ability to interview. That's like, how to motivationally interview someone, how to question,
mm,
how to engage in conversation and move and allow the conversation to grow and develop. Like all of these
yeah,
things are transferable, and I think that oftentimes, even going back to the earlier question about 9 to 5 and the 5 to 9, it's like
hmm,
people are like, oh, I must do I must do a 5 to 9. And it's like, you might not. And that's totally okay.
absolutely.
That's
Because
totally
I
okay.
was set up for that. That was what I was after high school. I went right into being a 9 to 5er. I was an administrative assistant for multiple years, and when I got married, I'm like, I got all this big. I have all this experience. There was literally, I'm talking about, I probably applied to like 150 jobs. All of them. I had like 3 interviews, and none of them. I'm like, I don't understand, but I do understand because like that wasn't for me.
When the
God ain't want
Lord
me to
closes the door.
all the doors.
Trisha
And you
Okay.
be like,
Bell.
man, no.
Trisha Bell. You hear me? That means you and I gotta talk, because that's literally what's going on with me. Like,
And the resume be popping. You like, my resume is
I got
popping.
the, but anyway, but
Yes, I
but that's
know.
where, and that's why boundaries is, to me, I'm not saying that God said this, but like, to a certain degree, yeah, Jesus had the best boundaries, right? And so for
He ain't
us,
let nobody
right,
cross them things.
there was times that he was with the people and he spent time with the people, and there was times he was
Yeah.
like, no, this is my time with me and the Father, that's it.
Yeah. Yep.
And
And it's not
no
all about,
one infiltrates this space.
right, and
Period.
so I truly believe like this is a gift from God. Like, I didn't finish reading this book, and I don't know if she's a believer, But I do
Mm.
believe that setting boundaries helps you find peace with Christ,
Yeah, for
because you
sure.
have to,
And
like,
it
for
says it's a
example,
guide to reclaiming your life.
Mm.
You are
you know,
reclaiming your life.
I'm not saying this book is the Bible. It's not. But what I'm
Yeah,
saying is it this is a gift from, I truly believe, is like setting boundaries is a gift from God, and you doing it in a loving
yeah.
and kind way. You're teaching people how to have boundaries themselves, because they need boundaries. Those who don't understand your boundaries
That
probably don't
part.
have their own boundaries, you know?
That
And
part.
so
Yes.
you mentioning the fact that you're a mom, you're an entrepreneur, and this is what God has told you to do. You're like you said, you're a child of God first,
Mm-hmm.
then you're a wife, then you're a
Mm-hmm.
mom, and then you're a business owner. So if you don't take care of
Yes.
the other three roles, like, you're not in
Yeah.
the will of God. God is like
Period.
your first ministry is in the home. And so I thought
Yeah.
that was powerful that you brought up the fact that you, like, God told you to be entrepreneur, and it was homeschool. That's
Mm-hmm.
one of my fears. But anyway, that's another topic. But
I
but
understand.
I'm in the same place with you as far as, now being a wife, a mom, and an entrepreneur, and not finding
Mm-hmm.
that job that I want. I have to set boundaries as if, like, somewhat like I'm working a job. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
before 9, well, before 9 is Jesus and I, and
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
5, it's family. So
Yeah.
in between, I might
Mm-hmm.
be like, I can speak to you at this time, and people
Mm-hmm.
don't like it. People don't like it. So how do you deal
That's
with
a
that?
great
How do
point.
you
People don't be liking boundaries
People
when
don't
you
like
set them.
it.
They don't.
They don't
They
be
do
liking
not.
when you set them.
So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with the people who, you set up boundaries, who some people don't like that, but you're doing what,
Yeah.
in order to do what God wants you to do, you're not going to excommunicate with those people, but you
Yeah.
have to set those goals, those boundaries. So yeah, how
Yep.
do you deal with
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy, because I think the people that you have to set the boundaries with the most are the people who like to infiltrate those boundaries the most. So, um, it can be very difficult. But I think, like, I heard a saying. I'm definitely about to butcher it, but it's like, if you know what your future looks like and where you're headed, like, it's very easy for you to say no to the things that don't serve you,
when it's
right?
clear? Yeah, when it's
When
clear.
it's super clear, yeah. And so I think at this point in my life, you know it's a lot more clear, and I have I find joy in setting certain boundaries. And if somebody doesn't like it, it's like,
Sorry.
I
Well, sorry,
can't.
not
I'm so
sorry, actually.
sorry. Yeah,
Not
it's like, I'm
sorry.
so sorry that you feel some type of way, but don't take it personal. It's not about you. It's about what serves me and my family right now. Like, that doesn't have anything to do with you. I have to do what's best for me and my family, and that's
Yeah.
just on period. And I love you. Um, like, I don't, I don't know
No, it's
what else to
true.
tell
It's
you.
true. It's true.
And as a recovering people pleaser, and I'm
Woo!
still, again,
How?
working on that. Okay. As a recovering people pleaser, that is very difficult. If you
It
know
is.
yourself to be a people pleaser, or you're highly sensitive and very, like, empathetic to people, it's going to be difficult for you, because it's difficult for me.
Yeah.
But as I become more self-aware, I'm I'm like, God be like, girl, you can't do that. You can't do that. You need to tell them no. And that's okay. I think the fear of missing out becomes lesser, right? When you know what your future looks like, when you are clear on where you're going, where you're headed. It's like, I can miss out on that. I don't need that. That ain't serving me right now. I don't need that, and it gets easier, but it's not easy. It can get easier, but you just have to,
Work
become
the
more
muscle.
self-aware, put it into practice, continuing to do it,
I
even when it's
love that you mentioned
uncomfortable.
becoming more self-aware, because that's what we said last week.
Hmm.
Mm,
Please make sure that you pull up on the episode last week. Make sure you
yeah.
subscribe to this channel, y'all. But last week we definitely made a point to mention that
Mm,
boundaries, zero zero zing zing, like step one. is being self-aware.
Yeah,
There is an awareness of self that is necessary in order for you to articulate what your needs are. You need to know what your needs are for yourself. Like, you see how you were
that
just
part.
like, I I need to block out this time. If you don't know that you need to block off that time, you will not block off the time. If
Yes.
you don't know that, like for me, I mean, like if I'm journaling or whatever, I might need all my colored pencils and all my colored markers and all my highlighters to be right next to me, because the moment that something is out of place, that's the only thing that my brain can focus on.
Mm,
And so something that you mentioned was about like removing the distractions. And removing the distractions means getting to know you so you know what you actually need around you.
yeah, that's good.
Media.
That's good.
So it's like, if I know that I need to make sure I have water, I need to make sure I have tea,
Hmm.
I need to make sure I
Hmm.
have I have something crunchy. I need
Snacks.
to make
Yeah.
sure I got all my pens and pencils and colored all the things working, ready to go. And
Yeah.
I need to know that I also need to take this in moments. And I
Yeah.
know that there's this someone was telling me about this app that you use. You can do it for like it'll do productivity. So it'll have
Hmm.
you working on something for 15 minutes, and then you'll
Hmm.
stop, and then it'll give you like
Yes.
a break. It'll time you
Yes.
to be like, all right, so for 25 minutes you can do something that you feel like doing, so you can get up, you can stretch, you can do whatever.
Yeah.
And I've heard that when you actually follow it
Hmm.
and not be like, all right, I'm gonna take another 15 minutes and totally bypass this 25 minutes that you're telling me to take. Um, you actually do get a lot of stuff done, because we don't recognize how much filler time we need. Like, we need
Absolutely.
filler time. And I think that because we've gone to formal school,
Yeah.
or
Hmm.
teaching settings where you are to sit down and be quiet for these
Hmm.
8 hours with your pen in your hand, and do, you know
Yeah.
once we've gotten, especially in the education space, once we've gotten away from being like, no, you walk in and they're supposed to be having a conversation, they're not supposed to be quiet. If they're quiet, something's going on,
Right.
something is wrong. but
Right.
but now seeing that, it's like, okay, we a lot of us are coming from this mindset of, you have to sit down for these 8 hours. You probably can't, and it's totally fine, and there's nothing wrong
Hmm.
with you. There's nothing really
Absolutely.
wrong with you.
Absolutely.
You probably need to do a productivity app,
Yeah.
which would time you and give you, moments to, here's your 15 minutes to do this part. All
Yeah.
right, take 25 minutes. Here's another 15 minutes to do this next part.
Hmm.
So, is there something that you utilize, any like resources and stuff that you use personally, that allows you to maintain your productivity?
Yeah. Do not disturb. It's
I
on.
love
It's on
that.
every.
I love
It's on
that.
That's
every
I
great.
love that.
iPhone. I just started like for real implementing that. And so from like, once I get up, which is around 8 or 9, 8, sometimes 8, or 9, and all the way up to 2 p.m., I'm on Do Not Disturb. So if I'm answering any kind of text message, it's because I'm looking for it. Like I'm expecting a text message. And I'm like, okay, I know I need to respond to this. Outside of that, it's on Do Not Disturb till 2 o'clock, because that is the time that I'm doing homeschool. That's lunchtime. I need to be focusing on my children. I don't need to be worrying about what's going on social media unless I'm like, I've committed to doing something at that time. Other than that, it's on Do Not Disturb. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this before, like earlier?
Is
But
it the
that's been
notif
super.
you're talking about, like receiving mad notifications like boop 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 boop?
Yeah.
Yes, that
Yeah.
distracts me so much,
Yeah.
like so much. So just putting my phone on do not disturb, that has helped me a lot. That app that you're talking about is Pompadour, I think is how you say it. I have not utilized it the way that I want to, but I am going to, and I think I'm going to start giving my kids the opportunity to use it during their independent learning time, because specifically for my son, y'all know he be up and
He
at
be
it
on
all
to
the
the
time,
next. He's ready. He's
on
moving. Yeah, he's
to the
finished. He
next.
finished this project already. Yep.
I'm done, mom. What you like?
Next.
Yeah.
Can I go do such and such? Can I do, so he needs that. And I think I'm definitely, when you were talking about it, I was like, I need to give him that app. So, but also for me, it's literally like having a planner, doing my time blocks and sticking to my time blocks. If I
Time
have blocked
blocking.
out if I have blocked out from 12 to 3, then I'm doing, I don't know, I'm doing meal planning, and I'm working on, emailing a couple of people. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. It's super help. Yo, that thing work. It works. If you actually put it into practice, it works. Because it gives you, it's like you have your to-do list, but it gives you like this time block, like a block of time to get it done.
Mhm.
And it's like you don't have to do it at like 12:15. It's like, no, I got between 12 and 3 to get it done. And it's just, I don't know, something with your brain. It's the
Yeah.
psychology
Yeah.
behind it
Yeah.
that makes it easier to get the task
Yeah.
completed. So yeah, I think those are the main things that have been helping me as of late. Yeah.
This was so
Trisha
good,
Bell, we
y'all.
have a lot to talk about. Well, it's 40. It's four. We're on. We've been on for about 41 minutes, and I
Yes.
know you said you got to get off. So earlier, but is there anything that you want to tell the people about? Definitely about your business, or anything you want to leave with them as far as boundaries and anything you want.
Yeah. Yes. As a creative, I know that it can be very difficult to get your mind, centered and focused,
Mhm.
in on things that are a priority. But that it's key to prioritize the things that you have to get done.
Mhm.
Really be intentional about the time that you spend, because many of us creatives have a hard time managing time.
Yeah.
So, like I was talking about, blocking the time blocks, you should, at the top of the week, just write out your whole to-do list. See what you have to do that's priorities, right? Focus on the priorities. Things that are not as priority, put them at the bottom of the list. And then block out your time. I say I start out from 6 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, like that. And then just put in the priorities within those time blocks and stick to it. Like, just get them done. Like, you know, be intentional about everything that you do.
Mhm.
And the other thing I would say is, as a believer, if you're a Christian creative, you really have to be prayerful about the things that you're doing, because sometimes we just be doing what we want to do, and God ain't got no hand on that thing. He ain't breathed on it. He ain't said go. You just kind of doing what you want to do. I'm telling you, don't waste time doing stuff like that. Spend time with Jesus so you don't have to waste time doing something that you ain't got
Ooh,
no business
child.
doing. I'm
That part.
telling you, you will save years off your life. Do you hear me? Years. I'm talking about, you're like, Dad, I wasted 5 years doing that, and that ain't even what it ain't even work. Listen, you
Mhm.
would just pray about the thing. Just pray about it for real. Give it to Jesus. Fast, pray, do what you need to do to seek out the Lord and figure out, all right, God, what direction you want me to take? I promise you, He's gonna answer you. He's gonna make it clear for you. It's gonna be like, I'm talking about 2020. You're like, oh snap. I'm telling you, like, please trust me. I'm 38 and I've wasted a lot of time. But since I have just centered everything and given it all to Jesus, it's like, it's no question. At this point, there's no question. Um, and it's taken me a while to get there. So don't make the same mistakes that I made. Be intentional about your days, be intentional about your months, your quarters. As a business person, each quarter is important. um,
Yeah.
yeah, organize your life. It's not just
Mhm.
about your business, but your, like, look at your holistic life and make sure that all the things that you need are just in place. Take care of your rest, take care of yourself, make sure that you're caring for your body, your sleep, all of that, all the stuff that we already mentioned. Just please don't sleep on that. It's important.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
call it slowing down to speed up. Slowing
Yes.
down, finding out getting your directions from your leader, right? Your CEO,
Absolutely.
your leader, which is God. Um, and the other thing I want to say is this past Sunday or 2 Sundays ago, Pastor Bernard, he said something along the lines of, the more organized you are, the more you can handle. It was better, but it was, and I'm messing it up, but it was pretty much the more organized you are, the more you can handle, and the more that God
Mm,
can, trust you with. I mean, it's simple. Like that
absolutely.
is very simple.
Very.
Organize your life, and you'll find out that you
Yes.
can like handle more and more as you continue to organize yourself. And so,
Yeah.
um, I'm talking
It's
to
not
myself.
easy.
I'm talking to
Listen, listen.
it's
It ain't easy, but it's doable. You can do it.
doable. It's doable with the Holy
Yes.
Spirit. It's doable.
Absolutely.
So yeah, y'all. And if y'all don't have the Holy Spirit, we would love to introduce you to a relationship with Jesus. We would love.
Yes.
Please hit us up, or if you have any questions or whatever it is, please hit us up. We would love to talk to you.
Yes, please be sure to send us a message, DM us on Instagram at Life with Trey and Jay. That's TrayAndDJEA. Trisha Bell, before we let you go, can you please let us know how we can find you?
Yeah, yes. So I'm at T Bells everywhere, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And my business is Art So Indulge on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as well. I'm at artsoindulge.com. And we're doing a group coaching session next month. So if y'all are interested, please follow me on Instagram and you'll find out all the information very, very soon.
That's at T Bells, TBELLS, y'all. Okay.
Yes.
So listen, y'all, please make sure that you subscribe, that you like, you comment, you share all the things. Pull up on our Instagram, as I said, at Life with Trey and Jay. As you know, on this channel, we share our lives to empower others to love Jesus, love themselves, and love others well. So we are out, y'all. This was our Wednesday YouTube live, and make sure that we catch you next week. Next week we're going to be doing Tuesday and Wednesday. Pull up for the vibe. But thank you so much, Trisha. It's a pleasure as always.
As
As always.
always, thank you so
Oh,
much.
All
And
thank
right,
we
you.
have
I
to
y'all.
talk
love
about
y'all.
this mommy stuff, business stuff.
Yes, we need a session anyway because I need to
Yeah.
catch up. I'm behind.
All right, y'all. Take care. Have a
All
good
right,
night.
y'all.